Fellow Kenyans, in the aftermath of the accusations and counter-accusations between the executive and parliament, among other arms of government, on the matters corruption in Kenya, we can clearly see the past in the present. In recent weeks, reports have revealed that over 1.7 trillion has been withdrawn from the consolidated fund and cannot be traced. At the same time, the state has been spending billions under so-called empowerment programs, including 1 billion Kenya shillings in a single day. These initiatives are increasingly reduced to photo opportunities, endless meetings, and press conferences that act as smokescreens for grossly incompetent and corrupt regime, while 19 million Kenyans are on CRB, 7 out of 10 Kenyans have more than 5 SIM cards due to Fuliza, hospitals are empty without medicine and equipment, and very demotivated health workers as school capitation goes to corrupt government officials instead of schools. Another smokescreen is the blame game between members of parliament and the executive over who is more corrupt, as the president sets up a multi-agency task force to investigate corruption. Multi-agency task force is the grand smokescreen on the war against corruption. For us to win the war against corruption, we must understand what level of corruption we are dealing with. Corruption falls into 3 levels. There is first one, petty corruption, which means a few small players are involved. This can be dealt with through immediate arrest and prosecution. The second level is grand corruption, where theft is carried out openly by powerful government officials and state officers. The third level of corruption is state capture, where those inside government are themselves held hostage by shadowy powers outside and above them. From the above, it's clear that Kenya is suffering from grand corruption, but not state capture corruption. In that regard, the so-called multi-agency task force is, unfortunately, the wrong prescription. History has shown that task forces, independent institutions, and commissions are normally destined to fail. Ruto is simply using the playbook that was used by his predecessors to buy the 24 months he needs to stay in office till 2027 before coming up with another smokescreen for his re-election bid. That is why we shall never relent on our call for the transition government, since Kenyans demanded accountability in leadership. But this administration responded with formation of broad-based government in the aftermath of June 25th, which has not delivered, is not delivering, has no capacity to deliver, and won't deliver. If it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, and quacks like a duck, it is a duck. This task force will go the way of the many before it. Consume taxpayers' money on endless meetings and reports, ignored recommendations, and zero accountability. Kenya's corruption crisis did not begin yesterday. From independence, our country was inherited not by true liberators, but by home guards who immediately captured the critical organs of the state, that is, security, finance, and administration. Patriotism was abandoned, and political capitalism took root. This institutional capture remains alive today, our constitutional institutions, that is Parliament, among other independent institutions, and many more, cannot operate independently. By extension, even the newly announced anti-corruption task force is already compromised. The members of the task force were handpicked by the executive, the main suspect in the grand corruption, making impartiality impossible. Corruption in the three arms of government begins with the election. That is, garbage in, garbage out. The rot begins with the electoral process. If the process of choosing IBC commissioners itself is tainted, the entire system is corrupt from the start. A corrupt process can only produce corrupt outcomes. Garbage in, garbage out. The selection panel that appoints IBC commissioners has long been vulnerable to bribery. Once in office, commissioners seek return on investment. This logic cascades downwards. Candidates must bribe both the commissioners and voters. In 2022, a former cabinet minister, Honorable Raphael Tuju, publicly admitted that IBC commissioners approached him at his home seeking bribes to present election results in favor of Raila Odinga. When he refused to comply, Raila's opponent got declared president, most probably after giving the bait. Let's now go to the solution. The solution is on the electoral and institutional reforms. This country does not need another task force. Fighting corruption with a task force is like prescribing Panadol for cancer. We must go to the causa causarum, the cause of causes. The solution lies in institutional and electoral reforms, where we need, one, an electoral process that is honest, transparent, and accountable, liberated from institutional capture. Kenyans must understand the cost of securing good leaders is far lower than the terrible price we are paying for bad leadership. Unless we transform our institutions and electoral system, corruption will persist, empowerment will remain a slogan, and leadership will continue to fail the people. In that regard, Kenyans will never enjoy their rights as enshrined in the Constitution until they have paid the price of having the right person in State House. God bless you. God bless Kenya. Thank you.